This has been emotionally exhausting in ways that I hadn't anticipated.
Some teachers aren't coming back to in-person classes after the pandemic.
It's hard sticking out. It's hard finding a place where you belong.
Black students at BYU share their experiences of racism that make it difficult for them to feel like they are welcome on campus.
Democracy is at an all-time low right now, and it is because of
I'm going to rule that out of order.
The Legislative Redistricting Committee makes some controversial decisions on the new voting districts. Welcome to UniverseLive. I'm Catherine Bennett.
And I'm Allie O'Rourke, and it's Tuesday, November 9th. The Salt Lake City Legislative Redistricting Committee is discussing their controversial redistricting maps with the legislature right now.
The committee approved the new voting districts yesterday after getting input from the community and an independent redistricting commission. Ashley Chase is here to explain why the plan is upsetting to many Utahns. Ashley?
That's right. Utahns overflowed the meeting that the committee held yesterday to give their opinions on the plans, and many of them came in hot.
Yet you, the legislature, continually walk over the people and disregard the initiatives that we vote on. Are you comfortable, Mr. A, rocking away there?
You can see the redistricting map here on the committee's website, and you can see the sea of red dots. Every single one is an angry comment about the plan. And if we zoom in here, this is right in the heart of Salt Lake City, which is split up between the 4 districts. And so the main issue is representation for the liberal and minority communities here that are now scattered. The Princeton Gerrymandering Project wrote that the legislature's map violates traditional principles of compactness, eliminates political competition, and divides a major community. And one Twitter user said it best with this post, "Jerry of the day," a reference to gerrymandering. Another one joked saying, "Hey, I'm going to be putting together a Utah marathon where we run through every congressional district in Utah. In other words, we'll just run this route on 3900 South 14 times. Who's in?" You can see here it's only a 35-minute walk to step foot in all 4 districts. The Independent Redistricting Commission presented their own potential maps at the meeting yesterday, and you can see in every single one of these maps, none of them shows Utah, Salt Lake, split between more than 2 districts. However, the committee did choose to make a few changes that divide Salt Lake a little bit less than before, as you can see here. The special morning meeting called by Governor Cox has redistricting as the main item on the agenda, which is where we'll see this plan presented. And we'll see what the legislature has to say about how to move forward with this redistricting plan. Back to you guys.
A bill introduced in the Utah State Legislature could require an employer to relieve an employee of the COVID-19 vaccine mandate under certain conditions. The bill is sponsored by Senator Kirk Cullimore. It would allow employees to waive the vaccine mandate by claiming medical, religious, or other personal reasons, and it would not allow employers to fire employees who refuse to be vaccinated. If the bill is approved by 2/3 of all the members elected to each house, it would take effect after it is signed by the governor.
Before the COVID-19 pandemic hit, researchers at BYU were concerned about another epidemic: loneliness.
If we don't change this trajectory, we will have emerging public health issues beyond this pandemic.
They found that loneliness can leave side effects as dangerous as habits like smoking and other health problems such as obesity. This means loneliness can shorten your lifespan by about 5 years. To fight this, they suggest that we work on strengthening our bonds. And they say that now more than ever, it is important to reach out to friends, families, and coworkers.
The pandemic changed the way teachers do their jobs, and after a year and a half of asking, when will things go back to normal, UniverseLive reporter Samantha Burrell asked teachers how they feel about returning to the classroom in person.
Online teaching, I felt, was a little easier to manage. I wouldn't have to worry about a commute. I could do most of the work and film lectures during her nap time.
BYU professor Allison Boyer realized that online teaching helped balance her priorities. When the opportunity to return in person came, she declined.
I thought about it, but decided that for my own sanity, I was going to stay home and focus on raising her. I would have no problem once things settle down a little bit coming back to teach. She disagrees with this plan. I would have no problem coming back to teach. I enjoyed my time teaching here at BYU.
While many teachers looked forward to coming back, some needed to make adjustments, like wearing pants.
This has been emotionally exhausting in ways that I hadn't
anticipated. Things like just making sure I look put together from head to toe, versus teaching online where I could just put on a blouse and then pajama pants and I'm presentable and ready to teach.
As teachers and students transition back to the way things were before the pandemic, many find that normal isn't normal anymore. And actually, COVID helped them find better ways to teach, to learn, and to live. Reporting for UniverseLive, I'm Samantha Burrell.
Every 68 seconds, someone is sexually assaulted in the United States. The Utah National Guard and the Elizabeth Smart Foundation are raising awareness for assault prevention with a workout.
If you are a survivor, you deserve to be believed.
The workout includes sets of 8 or 6 of each exercise over 68 seconds. It includes 6 or 8 rounds of burpees, air squats, push-ups, and sit-ups. The hope is to encourage Utahns in and out of the military to get in shape while bringing awareness to the current dire statistics and work together as a community to prevent sexual assault.
The Utah legislature will officially vote on changing Dixie State University's name next week. The Utah Board of Higher Education recommended the name Utah Polytechnic State University in late October, and the nickname will be Utah Tech University. If the legislature passes the recommendation and the governor signs it, the change will be official.
BYU is known for many things, but diversity isn't one of them. Only 1% of students here at BYU are Black. Kelsey May Neild has some insights into what BYU is like for minority students. Kelsey?
That is correct. There is a very small amount of students at BYU who are Black. This means their experiences vary for most students. Everyone's experience is different, but most face the challenges of racism.
People have been treated differently because of their race, and people's experiences have been significantly affected.
BYU is a predominantly white campus where some Black students feel they struggle to fit in.
It's hard sticking out. It's hard finding a place where you belong.
Some Black students have experienced racism when other students make judgments or assumptions based on cultural stereotypes. This makes it difficult for students to feel belonging.
What I wish people would see is who I really am and not the image that the media portrays.
The treatment based on media stereotypes causes harm to these students. But most of the time, it's not intentional.
I don't think the majority of the time people are outright intending to do harm to other people.
What can help these students is by learning about Black history and its impact on society today. Something else is listening to people's perspectives rather than making assumptions.
When I'm speaking from my experiences, and my experience will be something completely different from someone else's, and that's okay.
BYU community coming together to respect and acknowledge these perspectives is something that many Black students would appreciate. Reporting for UniverseLive, I'm Kelsey May Neild.
Utah ranks #1 in the country for charitable giving. Wallet Hub found Utahns give a large amount of money as well as volunteer hours to organizations helping those in need. In the recently released World Giving Index, the United States as a whole has dropped down to number 19 in the rankings, having previously consistently ranked in the top 10 countries. Suggestions for smarter donating this holiday season can be found on wallethub.com.
Sister Patricia Terry Holland accepts the Dixie Heritage Distinguished Public Service Award. Sister Holland was accompanied and introduced by her husband, Elder Jeffrey R. Holland, as she received the award from the Brigham Young University Management Society. During the ceremony, Sister Holland encouraged people to continue lifting their communities. She says that it is up to them to leave evidence of public service for the next generation.
BYU musicians can finally play for audiences again after having lessons and recitals on Zoom.
There would be no one there, so it's just like we and the sound crew would just like clap for ourselves. It was very lonely.
How the musicians feel knowing that concert halls will soon be full again.
BYU football finally on a bye, soccer hosts a tourney game, and 2 teams start their seasons as another closes theirs out.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go.
Music is ringing through the Harris Fine Arts Center instead of on Zoom this year. Musicians are experiencing excitement and anxiety going back to in-person performances.
Katie Ann is on campus to give us the details.
The Harris Fine Arts Center looked different this year with live performances and in-person music lessons. During the pandemic, musicians were challenged to perform and learn music through Zoom.
It's always better to have human interaction, especially in a lesson. I think, at least for performers, definitely everyone learns in different ways, but to some degree we're all very tactile. So for me it helps to be with someone where I can see them moving or they can guide my hand.
When lessons weren't on Zoom, most musicians were spaced out in large offices for lessons.
And then my professor would stand in the corner. So we were all 6 feet apart, all in masks. It was a really uncomfortable arrangement, and I had just like this smallest square that I had to stay in.
Many musicians were left in a concert hall by themselves with a camera to live stream their recital.
But there would be no one there, so it's just like we and the sound crew would just like clap for ourselves. It was very lonely.
I am scared I'm gonna cry talking about this. My recital has been the big event that I've dreamed of my whole life. So my recital was just me in a concert hall, and it was really hard. I can't lie, it was pretty disappointing, but people knew how I felt, and they made it really special.
Even though it's been difficult for musicians on Zoom and social distance, it's been more than magical to have a live audience again.
It was so fun. There's just an energy that the audience brings that feeds into your performance, and you really need it as a performer. They're kind of like your hype man.
It was great to have everyone there. It was the applause alone. But
as Beethoven once said, music can change the world. Certainly, musicians have been grateful to have in-person performances again. Reporting for UniverseLive, I'm Katie Ann Powell.
BYU entered the first college football playoff rankings at number 15 last week. The Cougars improved to 8-2 on the year after a 59-14 senior day victory over Idaho State on Saturday. BYU will await tonight's CFP rankings to see if they'll move up in the poll due to a number of top 25 teams suffering losses. After 10 consecutive weeks of play, the Cougars finally have a bye before facing Georgia Southern on November 20th. In the game against the Eagles, they will wear the Royal Sitake uniform combo, consisting of a royal helmet and face mask with white jerseys and pants. Cam Tucker's double overtime goal helped number 12 BYU women's soccer clinch a share of the WCC title on Saturday. The Cougars learned of their NCAA tournament draw on Monday afternoon. They earned a 4 seed and will host former Mountain West Conference foe New Mexico at Southfield on Saturday at 5 p.m. BYU has made the tourney 9 times in the last 10 seasons and is 12-3-3 all-time in NCAA tournament home games. They'll only host a second-round game if 1 seed Virginia loses its first-round matchup. Both BYU men's and women's basketball are set to kick off their seasons tonight. The two teams look to improve on last year's success and make even deeper runs in the NCAA tournament. The women's team, who return all 5 of last year's starters and are picked first to win the WCC, host Lipscomb in the Marriott Center at 4 p.m. The men, picked second in the WCC with 2 players voted to all WCC teams, will face Cleveland State following the women's game at 8 p.m. Both games will be broadcast on BYU TV. BYU women's volleyball moved up a spot to number 5 in the AVCA rankings yesterday. Sitting at 23-1 on the season, winners of 5 straight sweeps, and the country's leaders in both team hitting percentage and opponent hitting percentage, the Cougars host Pepperdine and Loyola Marymount in the Smithfield House this week. This year's seniors will be honored following the matchup with the Lions on Saturday, before BYU hits the road for 3 WCC matches to close out the regular season.
Well, it seems like a great week for sports.
I'm really excited for basketball season too. It's going to be really awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today for UniverseLive.
Have a great day. What do you think about the basketball teams this week?